Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this morning's headlines. Rahul Gandhi joins midnight candle march. Protests by students at Hyderabad Central University to join hunger strike today. Interim VC of university goes on leave. Centre files 316-page affidavit in Supreme Court over decision to impose President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. Tells court there was complete breakdown of law and order in the state and governor and family apprehended grave danger to their lives. Prime Minister assures government will not do away with subsidies but will rationalize and better target them to help the needy. Syria's main opposition party decides to join peace talks in Geneva. United Nations Special Envoy says he hopes for talks with opposition to begin on Sunday. And Serena Williams aims to win a record-equaling 22nd Grand Slam title today at the women's finals at the Australian Open. The centre has filed a 316-page affidavit in the Supreme Court defending its decision to recommend President's rule in the state. The centre has blamed former Chief Minister and the Speaker of the state for conducting a communal campaign against the governor and has also alleged that there was a complete breakdown of law and order there. Former Chief Minister Nabam Tuki has, however, blamed the BJP of pre-planning the entire crisis. Here's more.
In a 316-page affidavit in the Supreme Court, the centre has justified the imposition of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. In its response to the Apex Court's notice earlier, the centre said there was a complete breakdown of governance and law and order in the state. The centre also said that the governor of Arunachal Pradesh and his family apprehended grave danger to their lives daily. The centre's allegation in the affidavit have been directed at former Chief Minister Nabam Tuki and the former Speaker Nabam Rebia, who it alleges are playing communal politics against Governor Jyoti Prasad Rajkhowa.
वो तो प्री प्लान गवर्नर को वो प्लान करके भेजा हुआ था कि वहाँ जो ऑलरेडी वो गवर्नर बैठा हुआ को शिफ्ट किया मिजोरम भेज के नया गवर्नर लाया और उसको उसी दिन से पहला दिन से वो कार्रवाई शुरू करने दे दिया है.
Elaborating indicators of constitutional breakdown, the centre said that the governor's letters or references to the chief minister on matters of public importance concerning state administration were mostly not responded to in violation of Article 167B of the Constitution. Further, the centre also alleges that the chief minister has been encouraging indiscipline, lawlessness, politicking by government officials by inciting, provoking and funding an apex communal organisation of one community. It also alleges the organisation, mainly comprising government officials, have been provoked to publicly organize demonstrations, rallies for recall, removal and resignation of incumbent governor.
Governor is empowered to call the assembly at any other place. So, in an auditorium of a hotel, he called the thing and found that he had lost majority. So, he asked the chief minister to submit his resignation, which he refused to do. So, therefore, report went to the centre.
With regard to the situation, political situation in Arunachal Pradesh, the Congress party will have to answer. Because after all, dissidence was in their ranks. The assembly session became disputed because of the activities there.
Meanwhile, the Arunachal governor has allocated departments to his advisors G.S. Patnaik and Y.S. Dadwal. Both the advisors were appointed by the centre to assist the governor in his functioning after the imposition of President's rule in the state on January 26. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi joined a midnight march at the Hyderabad Central University campus. He will also join the agitating students today in a day-long fast to mark the birth anniversary of Rohit Vemula. Meanwhile, just hours before Rahul's visit to the campus, interim Vice-Chancellor Dr. Vipin Srivastava went on leave. He had taken over as the interim VC after VC Appa Rao went on leave amid protests from students over the death of the Dalit scholar. Here's more.
Classes may have begun at the Hyderabad Central University, but things are definitely not back to normal in the campus. The Congress party on Friday stepped up the offensive on Dalit scholar Rohit Vemula's suicide issue, with Vice President Rahul Gandhi participating in a candle march by students. He will accompany the students in their hunger strike today to observe Vemula's birthday. Vemula would have turned 27 today.
On 30th January,
which is Rohit Vemula's birth anniversary. So, as Hyderabad Central University students and all the students of different universities all over India have come here and are sitting on a day-long fast, a peaceful fast, to show that this movement is still on.
हंगर स्ट्राइक पर लोगों के साथ सामूहिक अनशन में, इज्तिमाई भूख हड़ताल में वो हम लोगों का साथ देंगे, स्टूडेंट का साथ देंगे। ये अब लड़ाई सिर्फ हैदराबाद यूनिवर्सिटी की नहीं रही बल्कि एक नेशनल मामला बन चुका है।
It's not about a religion is good than other. It's not about a caste is better than another caste. It's a state of mind. It's everything is in our mind. We have to change that.
Meanwhile, in another major development, university's interim vice-chancellor Dr. Vipin Srivastava went on leave. M. Periasamy, the next senior-most professor, will take charge as Srivastava's stand-in. Srivastava's appointment as the interim VC had drawn outrage from protesters, as he was the chairman of the committee that had recommended suspension for the 5 Dalit students, including Rohit Vemula. Just a day before, Dr. Srivastava had remarked that the university was going through its most difficult phase.
We are going through a very difficult time in the University of Hyderabad. Perhaps the most serious crisis that we are having since our inception in 1974.
13 days after the suicide of Rohit Vemula, the HCU continues to be in spotlight. Things are not likely to die down with Rahul Gandhi's visit to the campus. This is Rahul's second visit to Hyderabad since Vemula was found hanging in the varsity's hostel room. Congress has been demanding the sacking of HRD Minister Smriti Irani and Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya and also removal of Vice-Chancellor Appa Rao in the wake of the suicide. Activists in Delhi, meanwhile, will also hold a march against alleged discrimination in the country on the basis of caste. The march will begin from Mandi House and culminate at Jantar Mantar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the government will not eliminate all subsidies but will rationalize and target them to the needy. Addressing the Economic Times Global Business Summit in Delhi, he also took a dig at economists and corporates, saying that any dole for industries is called incentive or subvention, while for farmers it is derogatorily called subsidy.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said there cannot be an ideological position on matters such as elimination of subsidies. Addressing the ET Global Business Summit in New Delhi on Friday, the Prime Minister said that unnecessary controls and distortion of subsidies will be eliminated and the government will target subsidies to the needy. Modi also promised efficiency in allocation of resources as well as creation of opportunities for citizens to progress.
We have to eliminate bad subsidies, whether or not they are called subsidies. But some subsidies may be necessary to protect the poor and the needy and given them a fair chance to succeed. Hence, my aim is not to eliminate subsidies, but to rationalize and target them.
Underscoring the significance of reforms that impact the lives of citizens, Modi said true reforms are those that lead to transformation of people's lives. Modi also said that the global economy is going through a period of uncertainty and in a connected world, actions of one country affect another.
Between domestic affairs and foreign affairs is increasingly losing relevance. For a country in the modern day, it is not sufficient that its economic policies should only address its domestic priorities. To me, India's policies must be such that they make a positive contribution to the rest of the world.
The government is targeting award of 10,000 kilometers of highway projects in 2016, which is a leap from the 3,500 kilometer awarded in 2013-14 under the previous UPA regime. The Prime Minister also informed that over 200 million unbanked people have been brought under the Jan Dhan Yojana and the accounts today have a balance exceeding 30,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And more economic news now. Ahead of the budget, RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan warned against generating economic growth through additional debt. He said any deviation from the fiscal consolidation path will hurt stability of the economy. Rajan said macroeconomic stability during the global turmoil can't be risked and the government and the RBI should continue to bring down inflation. Rajan cautioned that as Brazil's experience suggests, the enormous costs of becoming an unstable country outweigh any small growth benefits that can be obtained through aggressive policies. Speaking at another event, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the 8% GDP growth can be achieved next fiscal on account of improved rural demand and better monsoon, even as he urged the opposition parties not to play games in Parliament when it comes to passage of bills to initiate key reforms.
I would say, given the inhospitable world economy and the fact that we've had two crippling droughts that would have sent our economy off track any time in the past, the fact that we still have managed 7+% growth rebounds to the credit of the government in all that it has done, in ensuring that we have that kind of growth, we have low inflation, and we have low current account deficit.
Well, after a bitter defeat in Delhi and Bihar, BJP appears hopeful about the assembly elections in Assam. The party wants to avoid confusion and is trying to form a clear strategy before the elections. For this very reason, BJP has declared Sarbananda Sonowal as its chief ministerial candidate well before time. In Delhi, the party had declared Kiran Bedi as its chief ministerial candidate at the last moment, and in Bihar, it could not project any credible leadership. The BJP Parliamentary Board took the decision at its meeting in New Delhi on Thursday. Meanwhile, our correspondent Pranav Goswami spoke to Sarbananda Sonowal. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
We've been seeing that Congress has been ruling for last 15 years, and we've also seen that pro-incumbency factor is actually is in favor of Congress. What do you think that BJP has got chances? Why you think that BJP has got chances in this election?
BJP can bring changes to the life of the people of Assam. That confidence is there in the mindset of the people of Assam. So that's why for the development, for the good governance, for the security of life and property, and also the identity of the people of Assam, this time people of Assam have decided to bring BJP into power.
And sir, you had alliance with AGP in previous elections. Will you be going with AGP again in this coming election? Because in Lok Sabha election, AGP and BJP fought, they were not together. And do you think that or BJP will go alone for assembly election?
No, we are having discussion with all the local parties, minus Congress, minus AODF. We have been trying to take everybody into confidence.
And what are going to be the main issues for BJP in this election, specifically on IMDT Act? What will be your issue regarding this?
Yeah, of course, illegal migrant will be a major issue, and at the same time, development, as I have already said, good governance and security. So these are the important issues we are going to take it up, because the people of Assam want the protection of identity, political identity, social identity, cultural identity, etc., etc. So that's a very important point for all of the people of Assam living in Barak Valley and Brahmaputra Valley. So, and for the employment opportunity and also the developing entrepreneurship for the youth. So that's why development will be one of the major agenda. At the same time, during the Congress regime, there was massive corruption and malpractices. So that is why people become insecure from all angles. So that's why people want good governance. And at the same time, the security from all sides.
Sarbananda Sonowal is very confident and very optimistic that this time BJP will perform well in Assam Assembly election. Pranav Goswami, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And here's a look now at what else is expected to make news during the course of the day in our segment, The Day Ahead. Well, today is the 68th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The President, Vice President, Prime Minister and other dignitaries will pay tributes to the father of the nation at Rajghat today. Union Minister for Water Resources and Ganga Rejuvenation Uma Bharti will inaugurate the National Convention on Swachh Ganga in New Delhi today. The ministry is urging for larger public participation in the centre's mission for ensuring a minimum ecological flow to rejuvenate the Ganga. On the second day of her visit to Mumbai, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will interact with students, small traders and women self-help groups. Swaraj is on a two-day visit to Mumbai as part of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's directive to his ministers to reach out to the people on the work done by the government. Moving on now, with the Zika scare spreading across the world, India has decided to constitute a technical group to monitor the situation. The move comes just days after the WHO predicted 4 million Zika cases this year. The Indian Medical Association has also issued an advisory asking pregnant women to avoid visiting Latin America. The virus is suspected to cause birth defects in newborn babies. With no cure and no vaccine for the virus so far, WHO has convened an emergency meet on Monday to discuss the virus's spread and ramifications. Here's a detailed report.
Microcephaly, a rare neurological disorder with long-term physical and mental repercussions. It is the biggest global nightmare, being spread by Aedes mosquito that carries the Zika virus. 80% of those infected don't even feel sick. But the major worry is about pregnant women and babies.
Vão fazer esses exames e vão ter a certeza que não existe a microcefalia. E se tiver, eu vou fazer o quê? Como eu repito mais uma vez, vou amar minha filhinha do mesmo jeito, mas é muito preocupante.
WHO is deeply concerned about this rapidly evolving situation for four main reasons. First, the possible association of infection with birth malformations and neurological syndromes. Second, the potential for further international spread, given the wide geographical distribution of the mosquito vector.
The WHO says the Zika virus is spreading extensively in Americas, with 3 to 4 million infections estimated over a 12-month period. Venezuela has announced at least 4,500 suspected cases. In Brazil, President Dilma Rousseff called for international cooperation to combat the virus. Concerns are high since it will host the Olympic Games in capital Rio de Janeiro this year. In Honduras, the health ministry launched a campaign to alert people. They also initiated fumigation to kill mosquitoes. Meanwhile, in Chile, health officials delivered repellents and handed out flyers to travelers at Santiago. In the US, White House expressed concern about its potential impact on pregnant women. The US has confirmed at least 12 cases.
Today, cases have been reported in 23 countries and territories in the region. The level of alarm is extremely high.
O governo federal está garantindo todos os recursos, equipamentos e pessoal necessários da participação da sociedade nessa batalha que deve ser continuada e que será de médio prazo.
According to WHO, India could also be at risk. The centre decided to constitute a technical group to monitor the situation.
एक हाई लेवल की टेक्निकल कमेटी बने, जिस टेक्निकल कमेटी में हमें सजेशंस और हमारे को रियल टाइम एक्शन क्या लेना है इसके बारे में जानकारी तुरंत हमको दी जाए। और इसकी बैठक आज शुरू भी हो गई है। इसमें WHO के प्रतिनिधि होंगे, इसमें टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप हैं उनके प्रतिनिधि होंगे, इसमें नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ वायरोलॉजी है उसके भी प्रतिनिधि होंगे।
The infection is caused by a mosquito bite. Common symptoms of the Zika disease are fever, rash, joint pain or conjunctivitis. Symptoms typically start 2 to 7 days after the mosquito bite. Zika was first detected in Uganda in 1947, but an outbreak of this scale was never reported. It has no vaccine at the moment, but the US says it hopes to start human vaccine trials by the end of 2016. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the main Syrian opposition has said that it will be joining UN-sponsored peace talks being held in Geneva to end the 5-year-old war in the country. UN envoy Staffan de Mistura has already met the Syrian government's delegation. He is now hopeful of holding talks with the opposition groups on Sunday.
The United Nations-sponsored peace talks to end the 5-year-old war in Syria began in Geneva. There is now hope of a forward movement, this time with the main opposition group, the High Negotiations Committee, agreeing to attend the talks. But their condition is to discuss humanitarian issues before engaging in political negotiations.
Our, let us say, negotiation team is going to Geneva, probably tomorrow, to be physically there, to control if the regime will apply what we consider that he must do.
The Kurdish Democratic Union Party, PYD, will also be attending the talks.
الأمور نضجت دوليا في توافق دولي مبدئيا للحل ومتفق والدول الإقليمية عما يجري فيها تغيير بطيء لسلوكها ومحليا صار في عنا شو اسمه.
More than 250,000 people have died and 11 million have fled their homes in almost 5 years of war in Syria. Forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad and those opposed to his rule battle each other, as well as jihadist militants from the IS. The talks are expected to last for 6 months, with delegations sitting in separate rooms and United Nations officials shuttling between them.
I have good reasons to believe that they are actually considering this very seriously, and therefore to be in a position on probably Sunday to actually start the discussions with them and in order to be able to proceed with the intra-Syrian talk.
The immediate priorities of the talks are a broad ceasefire, humanitarian aid deliveries and halting the threat posed by the terror group the IS. But the ultimate aim is a peace settlement that includes a transitional period ending with elections in line with the UN Security Council resolution approved last month. The last talks aimed at ending the conflict broke down in February 2014 after only 2 rounds, with the UN blaming the government for refusing to discuss an opposition demand for President Assad to step down. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, in other international news now, an unarmed Iranian drone flew directly over a US aircraft carrier operating in the international waters in the Gulf this month. The move is being termed by the US military as abnormal and unprofessional. The US Navy said that the UAV was unarmed and posed no risk to the carrier's flight operations. The incident happened on January 12th and both the American and French carriers were operating in international waters in the Gulf at the time. Iranian state TV on Friday showed images of naval drills carried out by the Iranian military and images of an unidentified US carrier at sea. Here's a look at the other international news in World Wrap. The US State Department has said that Hillary Clinton's unsecured home server contained more than a dozen emails deemed as top secret. 7 email chains are being withheld from a release for including top secret information. Hillary's use of a personal email as Secretary of State has become an issue in her presidential campaign. Clinton, who served as Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013, has long maintained that she did not send or receive information that was classified at the time. Four Chinese miners who had been trapped underground for 36 days were rescued on Friday. The men were trapped by a cave-in at a gypsum mine in Shandong province on the 25th of December. 29 people were initially trapped by the collapse. 15 have now been rescued and 1 confirmed dead, while 13 are still missing. A hand grenade was thrown at an asylum seek shelter in southern Germany on Friday. The grenade, which was found during the night, had its pin pulled out, but the explosives failed to detonate. The asylum seekers were evacuated while the hand grenade was destroyed in a controlled detonation. Authorities say that the attack on migrant hostels has increased by 5 times as compared to last year. A record 1.1 million people had sought asylum in Germany in 2015. At least 4 people were killed and 18 others wounded in a suicide bomb attack on a Shia mosque in eastern Saudi Arabia. No one has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but it resembled previous attacks by Sunni militants from Islamic State. The attack came less than a month after Sunni-ruled Saudi Arabia executed 47 people, most of them Al-Qaeda militants. Shifting focus to some sports news now. Serena Williams will look to win a record-equaling 22nd Grand Slam title when she faces Angelique Kerber in the Australian Open women's singles final. Serena has been in imperious form this season and is yet to drop a set in the tournament. The world number 1 crushed 5-time Grand Slam champion Maria Sharapova and Agnieszka Radwanska en route to the final. German 7th seed Kerber, on the other hand, is playing in her first Grand Slam final. The 28-year-old has won just once in their previous meetings. Victory on Saturday would see Serena draw level with Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 22 Grand Slam titles and put her within 2 of Margaret Court's all-time mark of 24. In more news from the Australian Open now, there was good news for the Indians from other sporting fields too. Meanwhile, of course, the men's cricket team beat Australia by 27 runs in the second T20 to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in their 3-match series, even as the Indian Eves created history earlier with a 10-wicket win over Australian women, sealing their first bilateral series victory over Australian women in any format. Here's more.
India recorded their first ever bilateral series triumph on Australian soil as they clinched the 2020 rubber by taking an unassailable 2-0 lead. India took the lead with a comprehensive 27-run victory in the second match, riding on an all-round show. Put into bat, India relied on brilliant half-centuries from Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, along with a useful 42 by opener Shikhar Dhawan, posting a formidable 184 for 3.
As I said, you need more individuals who can do more than one job on the field. And especially if all of them are good fielders, and then if they can contribute with the bat and the ball if needed. Just adds on to the strength of the side.
Defending the target, the Indian bowlers kept the Australian batsmen under check despite initial setbacks and bad fielding, restricting the hosts to 157 for 8 in 20 overs. Jasprit Bumrah once again impressed with the ball, picking up 2 wickets. Ravindra Jadeja and Ravichandran Ashwin chipped in to pile on the misery for the Australians.
In a T20 game, you need to bowl 1 over. And if you're bowling that 1 over, once the captain has given you 1 over, irrespective whether it goes good or bad, 1 over is out of equation. So that actually helps you, that 1 over, by the time the batsman picks what really is happening, what the bowler is looking to do, you can get rid of that 1 over. And in a way, it also helps us, because Pandya was also bowling at that point of time. I thought, he also bowled decently well. So,
Australia got off to an explosive start with Aaron Finch firing on all cylinders. He scored 74 off just 48 balls but failed to get support from the other batsmen. India thus took a 2-0 lead in the 3-match series, which ends on Sunday in Sydney. This was India's first ever bilateral series win down under. The Indians had earlier won a tri-series in 2007-2008 and the Benson and Hedges World Championship in 1985. Earlier, all eyes were on the Indian Eves, who created history at the MCG. With a 10-wicket win, they sealed their first bilateral series victory over Australian women in any format. In the rain-affected contest, the Australians reached 8 for 125 from 18 overs, but failed to take a wicket, and India reached their revised target of 66 with 5 balls to spare. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.